I think, yeah. Yeah.
We're live? Yeah,
Yeah.
we're live. Hi, good morning. Thanks or good afternoon, I guess, depending where you are in the world. Thanks for joining us at our Sylvia Findings Facebook Live showroom event. Again, weekly event. Is it an event if it's weekly, I guess? I don't know. It's something. We're here every Wednesday morning, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, and you can extrapolate out to wherever your time zone is. Um, to get together with our customers because with this pandemic still uh, raging, we're not able to do the shows that we so often do. Get a chance to meet with our customers, talk to them. Um, this is not showing up on you.
Okay, no problem.
You can look for that for me. Sorry, issue with my phone being able to see you guys questions chatting. Uh, yeah, why we do these live events? I don't know you've heard this every other week if you've been here, if you've watched them, but we do them just to connect with the customers that we don't get to see at the shows, um, and all around the show. They even, customers who we would never see at shows because you live in Australia or, God, we have a lot of customers in Malta of all places. Malta, isn't that like Atlantis? Um, Seems weird, but we get a lot of customers ordering from Malta, and it's not the same customer ordering several times. It's different people. I've looked it up. It's just so weird. But neither here nor there. We love you, Malta. Keep ordering. Maybe there's not a lot to do on that little island country off the coast of Italy. Again, Atlantis, right? Uh, um, this morning, I wanted to. Well, actually, let me just go back up and do a little bit of housekeeping first. Um, if you place an order during the live event, you get a 10% discount. Unless you order enough to get into the wholesale, and then once you get the wholesale prices, you're not going to get that extra 10% on top of that. We don't do the stacking things, but we do. Will offer free shipping on any order placed today, any or regular shipping, not courier service, but regular shipping. As far as the pricing goes, everything that I show you today, there'll be two prices, a retail price and a wholesale price. The retail price is just the price if you spend under $150, but once you reach the $150 at the wholesale level in Canadian dollars, so if you're watching from the United States, what is this like? Off the top of my head, your Lula would be like about 30% less, so like $110 US, something like that. So it's pretty reasonable to get the wholesale price. Um, Most of our orders ship within a day. So if you place something, today, chances are it'll ship today, unless it's a massive order of hundreds of items, which we love those kind of orders and we're happy to take them. But it probably won't ship today. It might be tomorrow. But otherwise, most of your orders will ship today. If you share this live event with anybody, with friends on another group or something, we'll know and we'll send you one of these, or we'll track you down, find your address, and contact you, and we'll send you one of these polishing cloths, which are just an awesome, uh, one of those regular old green cloths with the chemical infused there to help deoxidize your metal items, silver, gold, brass, copper. It'll polish them all. And you can keep using this until it turns like completely black. And don't wash it, because once you wash it, the chemical inside that helps remove the oxidation will be washed out, and then it'll just be a chamois, which I guess you can still use, but it won't be as effective removing um, tarnish, oxidation. Um, what is that? Oh, I didn't say. My name is Mark. I'll be your live showroom person today. Um, and we are Sylvia Findings, a premier company for SilviaFindings, hence the name. Pendants, rings, earrings, bales, wire, sheet metal, head pins, eye pins, clasps, jump rings, chain, finish chains or bulk chains, you name it, we've got it. And I think next week I'm going to do chains. I know that we had some issues having it show up in focus on the thing, but I think we've got that pretty much fixed now. We're not going to be able to do macro photography to show you like miniature links, but especially some of the bulk chains that we've got that I want to show you some things you can do with them that are, but anyway, that's for next week. I did have one question before I get into there. I'm going to talk today mostly about earrings, and just looking through the inventory that we have on that, trying to figure out how best to describe them, how best it would flow from one product to the next. There isn't really a good way because as far as the different shaped stones and different, because they're two basic premises that you need to start with. One is the function of the earring, like whether it's a post or whether it's a dangle, and whether and how the stone fits in there. So if it's a glue-on, or if it's prongs, or if it's a post, and those two, and then of course the shapes of the different stones that you could put in there. And those, I guess, three variables don't play well with each other. So it's not like I'm going to be able to show you all of the ovals and not have to segue into, well, this is a post, this is a thing. And I can't really show you all of the posts because the posts have different sizes, different shapes, different things. So I'm just going to be talking a lot about a lot of things as we go, and segueing back and forth, and that's good because repetition helps you remember things, and something that you may not have heard the first time, by the third or fourth time I say it, you're going to say, oh, that's what you meant. Okay, I get it. I did have one question that came up, somebody asking about flush mounting, and I was debating whether or not to actually go into real serious detail in that, because none of our products use flush mounting. They're not the thing. So that's specifically a stone setting question that anyway, I'm happy to quickly go over it and explain what it is. Flush mounts are what they sound like. Sometimes they're called gypsy mounts, where the stone is flush with the surface of the metal. And I'm just going to draw a little diagram here. Maybe I'll turn this phone so that where's my other phone? Can that turn down?
Nope, cannot turn it on.
Can't turn that way? Okay, I'll just have to hold the phone. Hold the phone. So if you have, surface of your metal, your piece of metal, your ring or whatever, and then you get a stone setting burr, which is just a burr that looks like that. That goes into your rotary tool, right? And spins around, and then you're going to carve, see, because your stone, right, looks something like this. There's facets on the top and the thing stuff. And not coincidentally, this angle is usually the same as that. And you're going to carve this into the seat, or carve the seat into your piece of metal, like that, so that goes away, right? And then your stone, just redraw this now, right? So that's what the surface of your metal looks like. If it's a ring or something, whatever. The stone will fit inside there. So the top of the stone is flush with the top of the carving, or the seat that you've carved, right? And then to make the stone sit in there, you use not a stone setting tool, but something like a burnisher. You can use, there's a couple, all kinds of things. If there's an attachment you can get for a Fordham that makes it, instead of just spin, and makes it, be like a pneumatic drill sort of thing, like they call it a hammer. And you push in, let me just magnify this a little bit so that you can see in detail, right? So this is your stone, right? And this is that edge. You're going to push in at that angle on the edge of the metal, and that makes the metal bulge out onto the crown of the stone. And you go all the way around, the stone, and that holds it in there, and that's a flush mount. It's kind of easy to do, but it's hard to do well. It's one of those. That? Yeah. So it's one of those setting tricks that it's not difficult to do, but it's difficult to do really well. It's one of those things that takes a little bit of practice, to get it so that the first ones you do, and you should practice a bunch of times, the first ones you do are bezel pusher. Yeah, bezel pusher might work. The problem with a bezel pusher is that they're normally square and the width of them maybe like 5 or 6 millimeters wide. So for smaller gypsy setting, you're going to end up with two sharp edges where the edges of the tool meet around the circular, bevel. What's a better tool to use, and I've seen them sold with kits for PMC and clay working. It's just like a steel rod that's filed to a round point, like a cone. And you can use that to burnish the outside edge of the thing, and just be careful that the point doesn't scratch a stone as you do it. What I was going to say before is the first couple of times you do it, it's going to look like crap. You're going to be you're going to slip, you're going to gouge the metal. There's going to be all kinds of really, really painfully annoying inconsistencies in your thing. But after you've done 5 or 6 of them, you start to sort of get the hang of it, and then after you've done 20 or 30, they'll turn out perfect. But you have to do that many. So when I learned way back when in stone setting class, we used a piece of sheet metal that was like 12 or 14 gauge, and we just started carving seats in it and practicing doing a bunch of them with some cubic zirconia stones. Started with pretty big ones like 6 millimeter, and then worked our way down until we had 3 or 4 millimeter. I found the smaller ones easier personally, maybe because you don't have to push as much material over for it to hold the stone in place, but probably it was easier because it's not as easy to see the errors on a little tiny stone like a 3 millimeter or 4 millimeter stone than it is on a 6 or 8 millimeter stone. Yeah, so that's it. That's a flush mount. There's your stone setting thing today. Soham. Oh yes, Soham is awesome. He's. You know what? I always poo-poo a lot of the stuff that I see on YouTube because it's people who have things that techniques that work for them, but aren't going to work for everyone. And far be it for me to say that you must do things this way. There's a couple things, like soldering. There's some physics that only work in one direction. But as far as technique goes, there's not one right way and one wrong way. There's a way or another way. And as long as the way that you work works for you, that's the best way. All the years that I taught, jewelry fabrication for 26 years. And I always taught what I found to be the easiest way for somebody who'd never done it before to understand the concepts required to be able to successfully complete what they're doing, and extrapolate from that along the way. Everybody develops their own shorthand and stuff. But Soham Harrison, yes, on YouTube, he's an expert at showing really, really clear, concise technique stuff. So yeah, he's one of the few people who I really, really appreciate on YouTube. His YouTube videos are great. Um, uh, So yes, thanks, Marianne, for mentioning that. Um, Again, it kind of outside of what we're doing here. Our stuff is all already cast. Stones are ready to go in. There's not a lot of thing. And some of the rings, like I talked about last week, the prongs are extra long. You need to cut those down and things. So a few metalsmithing skills are always helpful, but usually not necessary. And hopefully not necessary. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about earrings. But before I do that, let me just talk a little bit about shipping, deliveries, those kind of things. Again, before I forget, um, Canada Post still, experiencing massive delays. Um, our shipping into the U.S. is still awesome. The service we use is great. Picks it up on one day, drops it off in the U.S. the next day, and then it goes into the U.S. Postal Service, which really are. I think they say they're experiencing delays, but I've still shipped stuff from here to. I think the last order I shipped into the States went to Virginia, or the last one that I saw was completed, was delivered, was into Virginia, which is literally the opposite coast from us, and it was only 4 days. So good job, U.S. Postal Service. We have been shipping a lot more with DHL, people upgrading to the DHL service, which is awesome. The only snafu with DHL service that is coming to light is that items they'll charge you for like a brokerage fee. Anything under, and I think it's we're still trying to figure out exactly what it is, because depending on who you ask, you'll get different answers. But shipments under $800 US won't be, there's no duty or taxes into shipping from Canada, US Canada free trade agreement, as long as that one stays in power. Um, uh, whatever stays in effect. Anything under $800, you won't get charged duty or taxes. But if it's being shipped by a courier service like DHL, they do charge you brokerage fees. So whatever that is, say $12 or $15, they'll charge you for that. So if you're ordering, one pendant and you don't mind waiting a couple of extra days, just ship it regular post. We only charge $8 for flat rate shipping for U.S. Postal Service, which it's $8 Canadian, which works out to $6 something U.S. So that's really good if you're just doing it. But if you're doing a big order, we have a couple of customers in the U.S. that they make jewelry, they resell jewelry, and they buy a ton of our stuff, and they order many hundreds of dollars at a time. Then it makes it worth it, to ship by a DHL, because they'll get their stuff a lot quicker. But again, adding that $12 onto the shipping fee is could be a deal breaker for some. So enough about shipping. It's getting better. I think slowly but surely everything is going to get better, as long as we keep being safe and sane with regards to the pandemic, and hopefully it it clears up. Which it probably will only do once we get a vaccine, but that's neither here nor there. I'm sure there's lots of other places for you to get COVID-19 news. You don't need to do that from a jewelry thing stuff. Do we sell basket settings? Yes, we do, Marianne. Tons of basket settings. Where do I start? So many ovals and rounds and pendants and earrings and things. Basket setting is kind of a broad category. And we have a couple different styles of them that are really, really good too. So I guess it really depends, what you're looking for. Oh, here, Marble's going to give me a whole tray of. So here's I can even back up a little bit further. Here's a whole tray of basket settings. I don't know if that's the kind of basket setting you're looking for. And this, we've got everything from golly, 2 by 5 millimeter ovals, all the way up to the biggest thing there, that 24 by 18. That's a giant one. this kind of basket setting are great for cut stones, although you could absolutely use cabochons in there. Other basket settings that we've got, like this one, these, sorry, that's moving around here, hold on. So, got a basket setting like that. These ones are a little bit shallower. You can use these for cut stones, but they probably work better for cabochons just because the basket itself is not very deep. Yeah. Oh, for rings. Okay. Tons and tons. Rings with basket settings. I think most of the rings that we have can be considered basket settings only because, if you're going to fit a cut stone into a ring, it's got to be sitting high enough up in the seat that the culet doesn't poke in through the ring into your finger. So, a couple of examples. There's a nice, I can get this closer, I think. It's a nice, pretty good, basket ring. And as far as, here's a nice giant one. Whoa, this is one of my favorites. To start as the precursor for custom work. We do a lot of custom settings, and it seems like a lot of the times people have need custom work. They need them for giant stones. They've got these big stones that maybe their uncle was a lapidary and he cut this beautiful, mookaite, which is actually a stone. I'm not making that up. It's a real stone. Look it up. Google that. He cut this beautiful, brown and yellow mookaite stone, and you had it in your drawer, and you need a ring for it. It's not, really oval. It's not really round. It's kind of some crazy shape. We could do it. We could do the custom work there on that. And that ring I showed you is a good. That's a good precursor for a lot of the custom stones that we've, or a lot of the custom rings that we've made, because it's a good, general. Let me just pull it out again. Show you. It's a good, classic, shank, shallow basket, right? Just really good, classic, classic ring. Doesn't draw a lot of attention away from the stone. Not rings, just the settings. Okay, sorry. I thought you said rings. But that's okay, just the settings. Yeah, we've got tons of basket settings. We don't really identify them as basket settings. You'd have to do the search for oval settings, and then find the ones in there that are shaped like baskets. Or I think, oh, here, yeah, we got even more. Triangles, everything from little tiny ones all the way up to giant, huge ones. Rectangles, squares, you name it. We've got basket settings to go with these things. Right. So, what are we getting at? Some rectangles here. And I don't know if it's easier for you to search by size, or probably, I don't know, maybe searching by shape. I think that's probably best, Yeah, on the website. If you go on the website and just type into the search bar, or not, you probably wouldn't even do it in the search bar, it might be easier just to go to the site and in the menu bar, look for settings. I think it's setting findings, and then under there there'll be a bunch of different categories based on shapes, oval prong settings or oval glue-in settings or rectangle things or other shapes, and start from there. That's probably the best way to find something that you're looking for, because usually you already have the shape, if what you're looking for is an oval or a round, and then the rest is just a function of getting the right, sizing. So if you don't already have one, you should get a good calipers, a good set of calipers. And I've used the little brass one that just has a slider, and the millimeter notches are marked right in the notched in the caliper, and those actually work pretty good as far as gross measurements, something more or less 9 by 13 or that kind of stuff. But if you want more accurate ones, get an electronic one. You can get a good electronic caliper for under $30, or a good enough one under $30. You can get really super accurate ones for hundreds of dollars, but I think they call them something else. They don't call them calipers anymore. They call them micrometers or whatever. We're not doing nanotechnology engineering here, so it's jewelry, right? As long as you're within, I would say a quarter of a millimeter or less difference, you should be good. And again, some settings you can get away with, depending on how the seed is formed and the edge geometry of the stone, you can get away with maybe being a half millimeter off, and still have it work out, great, or work out fine. Hand cut stones are often, they start out calibrated because you start out with a stencil that you can draw the shape on, or if it's just freehand shape, then all bets are off. But if it's a calibrated shape like an oval or a teardrop or a pear, which is a teardrop, or a round, usually you start out with something that's more or less calibrated, but then just in the course of cutting the stone, grinding the stone, you may end up with a little bit of a different dimensions than you started with or planned to start with. So yeah, just beware of that. Okay, I'm I've gone like halfway through this hour and I haven't even started talking about earrings. But that's good, because never mind what we're here for, us, we're here for you. So if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, let me know and I'll talk about them on this thing. Hi Lisa, yes, we miss you too. Have we got any other? That's not my phone. Okay. Earrings, ear wires, earring settings. Obviously, earrings. We've got tons of ear wires that you can use to attach to anything. We have lots of customers who like the settings, but they want to have earrings. So I think the one that's really super popular for us at shows anyway, and I've got a ton of these, is we'll take a pendant, maybe not that one, something like this, a little square pendant. This has has a bail on the top, obviously, you think stuff. But maybe a customer has a couple of stones that fit this. It's an 8 by 10 rectangle, and they'll buy a pair of these. Just chop those little bails off, and then add an ear wire, something like that. Really give it a super fashionable Look, so ear wires, custom ear wires. We got tons of options. Everything from oh, crazy spirally things to I don't know, more interesting shapes with a ball post on the end there. Um, Here's a cute one with a little flower cast to that thing. Right on that, just with a loop. So I don't want to go too far into ear wires because um, you know we've all seen them, we've all used them. Well, I haven't used them. But I don't have my ears pierced anymore. I did at one time, ages ago, um, but that's neither here nor there. Uh, as far as earring settings, you can have everything from is that mixed up now? Oops. Oh, I have a line over there. I could probably use one of these. Yeah. Oh, well, the other. Yeah. So we've got settings that can be just regular posts, and we've got these are like just slightly cupped posts that you can glue a pearl or something on there. Some of these have um, the pegs on them to set them in there. Here's a it's upside down, but there's a ear wire with a peg on there, and right next to it it's just a plain peg with a uh, uh, or a post with a peg in there to glue onto. We do have some other ones um, like this, like these down at the bottom. A flat post for soldering onto something else. So if you fabricate or you cast some, crazy shape and you want it to be an ear wire or an earring, you could just solder that post right onto the back of that, and that's it. Or glue it. I guess you could glue it with a really good two-part epoxy. Um, but those are posts, and then we also have dangles, which are basically a thing with an ear wire, already attached to it. And whether it's a post with a like a stud or an ear wire, there's going to be lots of different permutations of that. And you can get ones with our this tray here that I'm showing you is mostly bales. These all have bales on the end of these. Right? So that's just a gorgeous casting with little bales on the bottom, pinch bales, something a little more ornate. Got some very cool shapes, right? So that's for a big pair. What is that? 25 by 6 millimeter? No. I'd have to measure that. I think 25 millimeters is the length of the whole piece. That's the pear shapes going. And just more interesting things. And these, you could find these in the website under earring settings, and then just depending on how you're looking for them, it'll be either glue-ons or prong settings. Right, this is a great one. This is kind of a real similar to one of the pendants that we have for earrings for pearls. This has a that I don't know, maybe you can't see them in there. The peg, soldered peg in the middle that you would just glue the half drilled pearl right into the center of that. Golly, that'd just be great. This one is $22.40 is a retail price, and $16.80 is the wholesale price for those. And you could probably use an 8 or 10 millimeter pearl in there. That'd be awesome. And pearl, I mean, there's just so many options. Here's just one. There's a cup and a post in there that dangles, and that'd be awesome with like a teardrop pearl with a hole in the top, or just some crazy Baroque pearl with a hole in the top, and it would dangle inside that. And again, not giant, but big enough to be noticeable and real fashionable. Here's another very awesome. Oh, there's another one too that I want to show you. I saw it somewhere. These turtles, right? Put a couple of pearls in that. I'm skipping ahead because of time. I don't want to go too long again. Right. Here's a cute little pair of earrings. These are prong settings, right, for an oval, for a 6x8 oval. Little owls. Let's see. You can maybe see that better. Little owls with the cubic zirconia eyeballs. God, I love that. And there are people out there who just are mad for owls. And I wanted to keep that out because here's another one that you're either going to love it or hate it. This gorgeous CZ encrusted pave style almost. These are posts, right? So you would wear them. That little spider would sit right on your earlobe, and these have little cup and pegs to glue a little pearl on. So the pearl would be the rest of the body. Really cute. See, and that's only $38 is the retail price, and $24 is the wholesale price. $23.89, right? If you dropped a couple of pearls on there, maybe I don't know, $10 or $12 pearls. Golly, you put that in a store, it wouldn't look out of place with the Tiffany jewelry. Many hundreds of dollars. One thing about posts is, and most of the post earrings that we sell don't come with backs. Well, let me just back up. Obviously, as far as posts go, we've got just the regular old basket settings, right? And as far as earrings, and these are posts, right? And we just go right on the ear. And we've got these in, rounds and ovals and pairs. Bunch of different shapes. And sizes, everything from super small. I think the smallest one that we've got is like a 4x6 oval, all the way up to 10x12 oval. I think is the biggest one. And there are lots of other posts that we have that we just anything from great big ones. That's pretty big. What is that? 13x18 ovals. That's a glue-on thing. You might be able, if it's a real thin one, you might be able to push that over like a bezel. But my point is that depending on how big and heavy the stone is that you put in the post, and the reason why we don't sell most of them with backs already is because depending on the stone that you put inside there, it might sit, it might be too heavy, might sit too forward in your ear. So if you use a real tiny back, right? So just, I don't know, let me go down to this. If you put like a little tiny, butterfly back like that, the flat edge that sits against the the back of your ear doesn't provide enough support for really heavy or really big stones, so they end up sitting, kind of forward. But if you use a bigger one, and I'll just show you the biggest one that we've got, but we've got a couple of different sizes of them, right? So if you use a bigger back like that, you get a lot more support against the back of the earring, against the back of your earlobe, and you can make them, stand up straight, stand up flush against your earlobe instead of, sitting too forward. So, and as far as backs go, we've got a big selection there. So, just beware that sometimes, and I think usually in the description of the setting or the earring post, it'll say these earrings do not come with backs, but you can order backs here, and then there'll be a link to the page that has a bunch of backs, or they'll say these ones come with backs, and then if you get them and they're too heavy and your earring sits forward with the backs that were provided, you know where to go to find backs that will work. I'm getting close to the end of the countdown, and I haven't even really scratched the surface of all the earrings I wanted to show you. I just want to show you a couple of new ones. What is that? Somebody sent a picture of some emeralds. Those emeralds? Joy asks, where do you find butterfly backings on the web page? I'm not. If I'm looking at the web page, I can find it, but off the top of my head, I can't. I think it's under other findings.
I will give her a link.
Marble is going to give you a link in the chat there, so just have a watch that. So I just wanted to show you a couple of my favorite new things that came in, and this one, I just love that. Right, that snowflake with the cubic zirconias in there. That's it. It's a post, so that'll sit right up against your ear. And I would recommend a bigger backing than the usual kind of tiny ones for this. But I guess it depends on what stone you put in there. And there's got this what is it, a 6x8 oval, setting. Again, this is a basket. It's going to sit, below your ear. So even if the pavilion of your stone is, giant and super deep, you could still fit a cut stone in there because the culet won't, be scraping against your neck or against, your finger on a ring or something. So that's just a really good versatile setting that's great for a cabochon or a cut stone. And I just love those. I think those are great. Again, I can't wear them because I don't have pierced ears. Here's another. Also, I'm going to take this one right out of the box. It's another awesome pair setting with, the ear wire itself has a bunch of cubic zirconias, in there, and then it's just a lovely dangle with a pair with a ring of cubic zirconias around the outside. Again, real simple stone. You put that in there, and it becomes way more less simple. Definitely the kind of thing you could wear out to a gala evening at the opera or whatever. And that pair ones, they're only $28.69 a pair for those. $17.93 is the wholesale price for those. And that fits an 8x10. You see that measurement there, 8x10 pear shape stone. And here's one. There's just one in there, obviously, because it would just be too massive otherwise. This is a post with just classic cabochon, setting. no, you wouldn't be able to get away with putting a cut stone in there. There's just no way to set that in there. But, you know, a cabochon glued in there, 13 by 15 cabochon, right? And this is $38.01 is a retail price, and $23.76 is a wholesale price for a pair, right? Not each, obviously. Everything that goes into your body as a pair, we sell it as a pair. I just think that's classic, really good. These ones, especially, I find these the ones the bezel ones are great if you are a lapidary, because you can always, you know, customize the size as you want. Here's my other new favorite one. This is not a post, it's an ear wire. Oh, and that's tape shut. Like an ear wire. And it's got this gorgeous ring of cubic zirconias around the outside and this lovely vine sort of almost floral motif. And the little round cab setting for a 5mm cab in there. Just, you can't go wrong with that. This one is $21.54 is the retail price. $13.46 for a pair of these is the wholesale price. You know, this is golly, even if you aren't a lapidary, it's super easy to find a 5mm cabochon. You know, just a little dab of two-part epoxy in there, drop a couple of stones in there, and man, you've got an amazing pair of earrings that you could wear anywhere. You know, and yeah, let's be honest, way cheaper than you would be able to buy, you know, a finished piece, you know, for. Here's another one with that kind of a same concept as the other, you know, kind of classic oval that I showed you. But this one is also an ear wire, but it's got that, you know, that kind of classic ancient Greek style border. I used to remember the name of that, what it was called, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. You know, with a ring of cubic zirconias on there, that's for a 13mm cabochon. Retail price is $42.64 for a pair. Wholesale price is $26.65 for a pair. You know, it's nice and big, but not ostentatious. You see a lot of, some of these things are just like giant and massive, and you wonder, golly, how does that not stretch your earlobes out? And that won't do that. And I mean, unless you put something, you know, really super heavy in there, like a. Let me get that figured out. Here's another awesome. Again, kind of a very classic frame, right? A basket frame. So this would be ideal for you know, a cut stone or a cabochon. You can get away with putting either of those in there. It's 5x7, you know, stone. Has that same ear wire with the cubic zirconias in the ear wire, right? So the loop on the bottom. Loops are all soldered. Cubic zirconias in there in the setting. I love these deep, you know, basket settings like this because you really can put anything in there. And it doesn't matter how deep the pavilion is, again, because as an earring, it's not going to poke you in the, you know, in the back of the neck or anything. The retail price of that one, $23.68, and the wholesale price, $14.80. Trying to keep this live stream to around an hour, and I'm just know I'm missing a bunch of the things I wanted to talk about. Here's another one around, and again, we've got a bunch of new round settings, which is awesome. Just gorgeous, sunburst, starburst, whatever setting. And it's a 4mm stone. Goes right in there. You could put any color stone in there, and it would just, be amazing. With the cubic zirconias around the outside, that lovely regular old ear wire. That is just a winner. You can't go wrong with that. $17.15. Wow. Is the ridiculously low retail price, and $10.72 a pair. Right? If you've got a little shop or you've got a little booth that you're selling jewelry at, right? Buy, some of these. If you got the wholesale price, it'd be like $11, right, for a pair of these. Get a couple of 4mm stones, it would cost you $2 or $3 for those. You're looking at $15 your cost for a pair of those. And golly, I mean, you wouldn't even have to blink twice to, put a price tag of $60 or $70 on a pair of these. Sterling silver with some gemstones in there, cannot go wrong. Just can't go wrong. It's a heck of a deal. We've got some really awesome. Here's a post one. And that one's like a 3x4, maybe 3x5 oval. I don't know if you could see the detail, but there's some kind of stylized hearts all the way around, the edges. And little clusters of cubic zirconias around there. That's classic. I don't know, I would probably put, a colored stone, like a nice, sapphire or maybe a ruby in there. $14.79 for the pair is the retail price, and $9.24 for the wholesale price. Oh, it says 3x4mm. Is this one? So I was right. 3x4, 3x5. Looks like. Gorgeous. There was another tray that. Oh. This. And we have a bunch of other rounds that follow along that motif. That it's just, a little round stone. What's that? 3mm stone? Yeah, 3mm stone with a row of cubic zirconias around it. Right? Kind of classic. Can't go wrong with that. That row of cubic zirconias will offset any stone that you put in there. And those are only $11.01 is the retail price. $6.88 is the wholesale price for those, for a pair. Here's a same idea, maybe a little more flowery with the bigger. Those look like probably 4mm stones, cubic zirconias around the outside, for a 3mm stone on the inside. And I think for that to look, I mean, you can get away with anything in there, putting a nice little, diamond in there, or I would probably, just me, I'm a kind of partial to colored stone, so I would put a colored stone in there, something like a, again, a sapphire, ruby, emerald. And that's a prong setting post. Here's another kind of a amalgamation of the two previous ones, right? Kind of a little bigger stone, so it looks more like a flower. Thing around the outside. This one is $13.26 a pair, $8.29 a pair for the wholesale price. In a post like this, boy, you just cannot go wrong with that. Okay, I'm gonna skip a bunch of them. I'm gonna show you just a couple more before I close up. Again, I'm trying to keep this around an hour because last time I went way too long. So here's a nice, just awesome star shapes. Again, this is a post. 4mm stone goes in there. 4.5mm. $12.19 a pair is the retail price, and $7.62 is the wholesale price of those. You can see those cubic zirconias all the way around that thing. Awesome if you're a Calgary Stampede, I guess. Here's one a little more classic pave style cubic zirconias on the sides in that little swooping shape. Post for, what's that, 5x7 oval. Cut stones or cabochons, either will work in there. God, that's gorgeous. $19.82 is the retail price, and $12.39 is the wholesale price. Again, there are so many options as far as earrings and ear wires go. You know, if you have, a pair of stones, and you know the measurements of the stone, just email or call, or get on the live chat on the website and say, hey, I've got a pair of these things, help me find earrings that will fit those, and then we can go from there, whether you want posts or dangles. And then as far as the styles go, we've got a couple hundred styles of earrings. So the chances of not finding something that will work for your stones, which most normal size stones, never a problem. But then finding ones that work for your stone that you actually like is also, chances are good we'll find something that works and that you like. People say, well, it's not a good idea to have such a big selection because people don't like too many choices. And I've always found when it comes to this kind of thing that there's no such thing as too many choices. You need to have this many choices because any one choice, limits how many different size stones will fit in there. And of course, you can always take something and we can oh gosh, I love this pair of earrings, but it's designed for a 6x8 oval, and what I've got are 8x10 ovals. We can customize that. Haven't talked about it yet this live stream, so let me just talk about the custom service. We do custom service. Marble owns a factory, so you can do whatever he wants within within the physics of the size of a flask. So if you're, which is the tube that goes into the casting machine, neither here nor there. I could talk about the technical aspects of casting and what goes into it and how it's done, if you like. Always happy to do that, but I'm not going to do that now, except to say that the only limits are, the size of the tools that we use to make the things in. So, if we have a setting that we've already got in a 6x8, settings for a stone, for a 6x8 stone, and you've got an 8x10 stone, we can very easily recreate that in the, using the custom stuff. And, or if you have an idea of your own. I've always loved this Rococo design, but I've never been able to find a piece of jewelry that used it. And I've got these stones that I would love to put in them. Draw your idea on a piece of paper, take a picture of it and email it to us, and we can start working from that. And the dimensions of your stone. We'll do the CAD design, which is all included in the cost. The cost for silver items under 5 grams, which is most things. There are some chunkier rings that might end up more, some bigger pendants with thicker components that might end up being more. But for the most part, most of the things that we sell anyway are 5 grams or under. And the price for that is only $60 Canadian. Again, if you're watching in the US, $60 Canadian works to under $50 US. And having a custom made piece of jewelry done for $60 Canadian, I mean, it's impossible. If you walked into a jeweler with a drawing or with a stone and said, "Hey, I need just a simple pendant made with this stone, to fit this stone," you would be starting at like $300 or $400. It would be the starting price, and it would go up from there, depending on how much time they spent to, carve the wax or do it other. Thing. We do all of our custom work. We do a 3D design, mock-up, and then we'll email you those pictures, the 3D pattern that you can look at and say, yes, no, I like it, I don't like it, it's not what I was thinking, maybe, do whatever changes, and we'll just keep adjusting it until you're good. And then once we do it, once you're good, then we take that 3D file and we 3D print a resin model of that, and then we use that to do the casting. Or if you're going to be doing, if you're a jeweler and you need to have a component that you're going to put on all your jewelry, or not all your jewelry, or just, there's a piece of jewelry that you want to use a lot of, that you want, 30 or 40 or 50 pieces done, then we'll make a mold of that, and then you can just, shoot the wax blanks, as many copies as you need. But for production runs like that, Marble would work out a price for you based on the size of your pieces. So my point was, you can always look at all of these items, and of the thousands of products that we have on the website, surely you could find something that you just love the look of, and even if it doesn't match your stone, we can customize that for you. We can use that, piece of jewelry as a starting point. That's the easiest way. Although we can, like I said, we can do it with a drawing or with a description or, photographs. We've had people, take photographs of things they've seen and say, well, I'd like to incorporate this. I'd like to, have this, whatever. And, quote your prices based on that. We can always do it. Again, Marble can do anything because he owns a factory. Again, I've managed to run over the amount of time, and I didn't even get into all of the earrings that I wanted to show you, but you get the basic idea. I think I covered a little bit of everything, the different shapes, the different setting styles, glue-ons, prongs, and I did show you some of my personal favorites, although just because they're my personal favorites doesn't mean that they'll be yours, and you really should take some time and look through the the website. Again, if you've got stones already, start from there. I've got a pair of oval stones, oval sapphires that are, 6x8. I think you can filter down your search. Look at those earrings that are oval prong settings. If they're cut stones, you'd need prong settings. You can really glue them in there, and start from there and just look at look at all the styles that we have. And just go for that. That I think is your best. Thanks, Joy. Joy thinks we're awesome and that we're very friendly and we have great service. I agree.
Joy asked us to show whether these ear nuts can fit a 20 gauge wire. So I tried the 20 gauge wire, fits good.
Oh.
I
think. Joy, you wanted to see that LF003 on a 20 gauge wire. Let me guess. You make your own earring posts with 20 gauge wire that you solder on there. That's a gal after my own heart. I used to do that kind of stuff all the time. There you go. So that's that. That's that LF003 on a 20 gauge wire. So if you're making your own earring posts out of 20 gauge wire, I used to use 20 gauge wire to make my own ear wires all the time, because it's close enough to, the thing is, normally and this is weird because normally the ear wires that you buy in the store, are like 21 gauge. And it's pretty rare to find people who sell 21 gauge wire. So I don't know. I find that 20 gauge isn't that much bigger. I think the difference is 0.25 millimeters, something like quarter millimeter, maybe half millimeter difference between 21 gauge and 20 gauge. And 20 gauge is not that much bigger, so it's not like it's going to stretch out your ear holes or anything like that, or be more difficult to put in. But you can buy it everywhere. Everywhere that sells wire sells 20 gauge wire. It's like the size. Just looking if there are no other questions. Anybody have any other questions, comments, concerns? I feel like I'm missing something that I was supposed to talk about, but I didn't. And this is my own fault. I got distracted by the stone setting questions at the beginning and the other basket settings. I talked about the polishing cloths, right? And we'll send you free shipping on your orders if you place them during the live stream or as a result of the live stream. Um, I'm sure that if you place an order after we're done, on your, that will still do the free regular shipping that you place online. Liking this and sending this link to from the live stream to somebody else, friends, groups, will get you that free polishing class. Okay, I'm gonna stop right now. End this for today. Managed to keep it I'm just over an hour. So I'm over an hour. Again, I ran late. Next week, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about chains. Maybe I'll do a quick rundown of the casting process in case people are interested in that. And if you have any other questions or comments or concerns, please email that to us or make a note here, direct message us on Facebook or call. I'm in the office every day. I feel like there was something else that I was supposed to talk about that I'm forgetting, but too bad. We'll have to do it next week. So thanks for joining us this week. We'll talk to you next week. We're always here. You can reach us on Facebook. You can reach us on the website, www.SilviaFindings.com. If you're one of our Etsy customers, you can message us there, reach us there. I don't know, am I allowed to talk about the other website? Am I allowed to talk about the other website yet?
No, yeah.
No, not yet. Okay, never mind. We have some cool news that we'll talk about in the upcoming weeks. But for now, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week, and have fun. Keep making stuff. Keep staying safe, and keep staying busy. We'll see you next week. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye. How do I turn this off? Are we off? I can't read Chinese. So which one do I do? Okay.
Okay, good job. Today I have two order or not.
Oh, I knew that, but at least I want to talk about that.